YouTube, nice and early this morning. I've come in an hour early to set up the CNC machine to do some cutting before everyone else gets here, so that I can then continue and I'm actually getting on some paid customer work. So yeah, I'm tired. Today we're going to start the machining process of the inlet manifold for the Time Attack car this year. I'm happy with all the dimensions, I'm happy with the position of the throttle body, etc, etc, etc. Now I'm a bit limited to what I can machine on our little Shapeoko. You know, it's a 3-axis machine, we can't really do anything posh or intricate, so the manifold consists of a few different components. We've got our base plate flange, which is the part which bolts to the cylinder head. We've got our transitions, which take from our oval port to a round port inside. I don't think you can even pick it up in there. No, you can't. We've got the base plate flange for the plenum. We've got the plenum itself, and then we've got a throttle body flange. Now, on the Shapeoko, I'm going to be able to machine the base plate flange, the plenum flange, and the throttle body flange. The plenum, we're going to make it out of sheet metal. While it would be nice to do it out of billet, it's just going to be too expensive, so we're just going to do sheet metal for now. And these transitions, unfortunately, I can't do on this machine. They're a bit too complicated because of how they transition. You can probably see it from this angle here. So I'm actually going to outsource these parts, unfortunately, but it's got to be done. So we've got our base plate loaded up in Fusion, so you can sort of see how the part looks now. Now it's not all super glued together. So we are using the same trick that we used on the inlet manifold flange that I did the other day. So we're going to use these little spheres as like a rudimentary form of hole center, and then we'll use an angle plate on the pillar drill and use a specialized injector drill bit that I've bought to then drill the bosses out. These two bosses here are for fuel rail, which is kindly being machined for us by K11 Engineering. Hi, Doug. So yeah, we're going to be using a standardized 14mm injector for those. So yeah, I'm not going to bore you to death like I did in the last CNC video with just 10 minutes of utter bollocks about camming the program. So I'm just going to do like a little time lapse here and just bez through it and go straight on the CNC. Because this is going to be quite a long video, because I'm not going to do it all in the same day, let alone the same week. So yeah, let's get some machining done. And there we have the flange of the CNC. Now, I'm not overly happy with it. I had some troubles with the programming. As you can see, I've nicked out these parts here. Not the end of the world, because obviously we'll be welding over them from a cosmetic point of view. But somewhere along the process, I'd managed to lose 2mm of depth. So it's far from perfect, but it does fit, which is the main thing. I might resheen it if we've got time, but you know, it fits. That's the main thing. So we're going to jump straight into the next part. We've already cut our stock. And next we're going to be machining the throttle body flange. So we've got our 6.5mm holes here that we need to drill out and tap to an M8. We've then got this little socket on the back side, just because we've got the material there, we might use it, and then this little piece here will socket into the tube that we're going to be using on the throttle body elbow. So let's just quickly run through the program quickly. Let's speed it up because nobody's got time for this. So we're going to start by doing our holes, and we're going to switch over to a bigger end mill, 6mm single, and this bit takes quite a while. That's going to give us our taper right down to the bottom. Then just an outside contour, and we'll hold it in with these tabs and we'll break the tabs off. So yeah, let's do another quick time lapse. Let's get this bitch cut. And there we go, we've got the throttle body flange machined. There'll have been some jump cuts in that time lapse because I forgot to program some of the 2D adaptive, and I also managed to crash the tool, but don't worry about that, we'll put that underneath so you don't see it. But yeah, pretty happy with that, it's come out pretty sick. So I've done this little tapered lip here so that it slides into a bit of 3-inch tube. So let me go get a bit of 3-inch tube and let's see if this socket's inside of it. Beautiful, look at that. Socket's nice in there. So that's going to give us a nice taper. So as the air goes in, it will taper out to the diameter of the tube. So yeah, that's the next part done. So now we need to machine the base plate of the plenum. So guess what? You're going to be treated to a lovely time lapse. Woo! So that's the first operation of the lower plenum plate done. These are our bell mouths for our intake. So what we've got to do now is flip this upside down and do the backside operation. Now, part's not perfect, it has got some blemishes in there, but you know, we are still learning. You know, maybe I'm not programming the tool paths as best they could be, but I'm doing it to the best of my ability and my knowledge. You know, every day's a learning day. But yeah, secondary op, let's crack on. Now I've got to say, I am fucking dead chuffed with this part. Dead chuffed, it's come out just nice. Had to do a bit of a risky mid-op tool change because I have this little Y stop on here, and the end mill just sort of breezed it and it actually took the tip off the end mill. So that's scrap. But the part though, look at it. That's come off a fucking Shapeoko router. Dead chuffed for that. You might have noticed that my cum bottle had appeared mid montage there. We made some adjustments. I've been machining this over a couple of days, the whole manifold, so made a machine change to try and keep the end of life a bit better. But yeah, dead chuffed for that, dead chuffed. So yeah, on with the next part. And here we have both parts side by side. We've got the bell mouth plate for the base of the plenum, and we've got the inlet flange now. Luckily, these have landed, so these are the transitions, which transition from the base plate to the plenum plate. Couldn't machine these on my machine, unfortunately, so I've had to get these from I've had to outsource these, but they've come out really nice. So before we start welding all this up together, we need to sort out our injector holes. Now here's one I did earlier. This is a CG micro flange that I did the other day. It's going to be too much pissing around making a fixture to hold these at the right angle to do the injector holes on the mill. So I've bought this little neat drill that's specifically for 40mm injectors, in like so. So yeah, we'll just go to the drill now, drill the injector holes, and also we need to drill the M6 hole for the fuel rail standoff as well. But we'll go over to the drill press now and get these drilled out. So we've got the injector bosses all drilled, we've got our thread tapped out for our fuel rail. So our next step is to weld on the transitions. So we'll get all this all tacked up together with the bell mouth plate, and then we'll start looking into fabricating the plenum. That's that piece all welded up. It's looking good. So next we're going straight on to the plenum. So this is the 3D printed one that we've got. This is a 1D aluminium bend that I've based the design off. And then we just need a tool, not me. So the idea is now is with this 3D printed tool we can mark along the centre line radius, and then we can use the outer part for this part of the plenum, and then we'll salvage the inside part for this part of the neck here. So yeah, let's get that cut. So we've got the basic shape of the plenum. I've checked it fits the car. All we've got to do now is do these little infill pieces. Dead simple. Plenum on there, draw a handy, cut it outie. So that's the plenum done. Welded the outside, and then I've also done like a fusion pass on the inside to smooth down all of the welds, because there was quite a bit of penetration on there. I've just given it a nice little brush finish, because polish finishes are just an absolute nightmare to keep clean, and all you need to maintain a brush finish is just a bit of Scotch-Brite. So yeah, happy with that. We're going to weld it back onto the base plate, and then we can continue the last piece, which is the throttle body. So yeah, we're not long done for finishing this. Let's crack on. So while we wait for that part to cool, we'll look at doing the throttle body neck now. So again, we're going to use a 3-inch 45 1D. Now, you can't really typically get 1D alloy bends off the shelf, but Allonox supply them. They're a bit dear, but I needed the tight constraints. So yeah, we're just going to sort of like loosely mock up this here. Cut our tube there, let's get that cut, let's get the throttle body flange put in. We've got a tube cut, we've got our throttle body flange. That's a nice socket into there. So what we're going to do now before we weld it onto the tube is we'll go prep and polish the tube. We need to go quickly tap these holes out to M8, and then we can come back, not weld it up yet. We'll then, hopefully by then, the plenum will have cooled down enough to go bolt it back on the car. We'll go finalise our clocking position, our angle, and obviously the clocking position and rotation of the throttle body flange at the same time. So yeah. And there we go, one intake manifold. Really happy with how this has come out. You know, I'm more impressed that we've machined the flange in-house, we've machined the plenum in-house, we've machined the throttle body flange in-house, and I've made it. So yeah, I'm over the moon with that. That's the first inlet manifold that I've made. So we can only improve from here. So now that's done, we need to go back over to the car and bolt it on. Now, I am absolutely chuffed on how this looks. I mean, the engine just looks fucking beastie. Absolutely beastie. But yeah, it fits real nice. It's not a true 1:1 representation of the 3D printed one. Once I started cutting the 90-degree bend for the plenum, I realised that I did actually have a bit of room to play with. Because in my original design, we had basically taken like a strip, I think like a 15mm strip. So if you imagine the plenum now, 15mm for the bottom, we cut that off. But we actually didn't need to in the end. So yeah, we've got plenty of clearance, throttle body. Now we do, it's not finished. We have got some stuff to do, but for the purpose of this video and to get the car onto the next stage, which all this sketty you see over here, that's another video. So excuse the mess, sorry Haltech. But the manifold's got to come back off because we've got to weld in the intake temperature sensor. We've got to have some barbs on there for like the map sensor, and obviously we then need a takeoff for the brake servo. But no, I mean the bulk of the work in this video is done. We'll do the rest in another video if we've got time. So last thing we've got to do is put the injectors in, and I did finally receive my fuel rail from G19 Engineering, good friend Doug. Now this is a freebie, this is a sponsored part from Doug. Nice custom fuel rail to match our custom spacing, because obviously no one makes custom fuel rails for this application. Yeah, real nice machining work at the bottom. We've got some bolts here and some recess parts to make some brackets on the CNC, to obviously to be able to bolt it down. Now this is a very special edition fuel rail. Doug kindly machined a 1:1 scale of my peen on the bottom of the fuel rail. I asked him to put it on the front so it could be on show, but he refused. But yeah, we've just got to weld on the fittings. We're going to put some -6 fittings on there. I'm just a bit ashamed that my peen is going to be not on show for everyone. I mean, it can be if you subscribe to my Only Dans. But yeah, we're just going to quickly test fit the rail and the injectors, and then we'll come back and then we'll finish the video. And there we go, we are one step closer to firing this sumbitch up. So yeah, that's it for this video. I'm going to end this video here. I'm about to bugger off to Florida for 2 weeks. And in the meantime, while I'm gone, the car is heading down to Haltech UK headquarters in Birmingham. They came down yesterday. They gave us some absolute sick merch. They gave me a hoodie, which is my new favourite hoodie. I'll quite happily do my wife in bed in that hoodie, it's that comfy. They gave us a banner, and we had a good chat. They couldn't see the car. Obviously, you know, they've put a lot of effort and sponsorship into the car, so they've come down to see how we're getting on. And long story short, they've offered to wire it, provided we can get the car to him in Birmingham. So I'm going to arrange that while I'm out in Florida, and then hopefully when I come back in 2 weeks' time, we've got the car back wired, and we should be in a position ready to go mapping. Now, at the time of this video, the gearbox is still being rebuilt. We've had to wait for some parts for that. Hopefully that will be done by the time we get back. We've got the custom drive shafts, which is again another video. The gearbox is a different video, the drive shafts is a different video. They should have been done this week, but I've not heard a peep. I've sent them an email. Hopefully we'll find out next week where the drive shafts are. And then once we've got the gearbox built and the drive shafts back, we're going to take the engine back out. We're going to finally fit our gearbox with the diff in it. We're going to fit our competition clutch, and hopefully we should be in a position to get it started, get it on a dyno, get a baseline in there, ready for Cadwell Park. So a lot to happen in a short space of time, but I'm sure we can make it happen. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hopefully it wasn't a lengthy one for you to watch, but I hope you enjoyed it, especially the machining side of things. I'm really starting to enjoy doing a bit of machining, so hopefully we'll do a bit more in-depth videos on the Poco, as I've called it. Although I have blown up another VFD unit on that, so I'm a bit pissed off about that, because we were machining the water pump cover. Again, another video. So yeah, thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks in the next video.